This is the Silver Wolf Owl. I am Angela, and today we're discussing a few different types of investigations with Ryan. Welcome back, Ryan. Today we've got a few different topics that we're going to be discussing in investigations.
Good morning, Angela, and good morning to the listeners.
We have a variety of stuff today. So let's start with asset investigations. What is an asset investigation, and what type of assets do you investigate, and why?
And asset investigations is basically just that what someone has movable and what a business has which is movable. Anything that needs to be accounted for in the event of a lawsuit, divorce proceedings. What has the person got that can be taken in order to be sold for reimbursement of whatever legal nature or case that is currently in progress. Then you also have immovable, which is buildings, which is basically property. And that is also for example, a business that is owing or whatever the case is, so that they can then once the movable assets has been what we call repossessed, then if it's not enough, then they go to the immovable, which is property.
So this would be in an instance, for example, where one business has an issue or some legal dispute with another, and they wanting to find out if it's worth their while to go the whole legal route and to pursue any kind of litigation against the other company, because these things can get quite expensive, lawyers' fees and court fees and all sorts of things. So they would then do their homework by hiring an investigator to check if the other side has got stuff that would cover those costs and also recoup whatever the original dispute was about. So is that what this whole investigation service is about? Am I accurate in my summary?
That is correct.
In what other types of instances would asset investigations be required?
Let's say, for example, there's 4 directors, and it is found that one of the directors over the years has actually had his own business which does the same thing. And the company itself has been losing business, and everyone suffers. But for some reason, this one person is still living, normal life. There's no impact of no business coming in. Then suspicion arises. They want all the directors to be investigated for assets, and then it's found that this one actually had another business for years, and then that's conflict of interest because he never declared that. And then it comes to light that this person has been sucking up all the contracts, and then the company with the other directors then sue him and his business. And in most cases, it runs into millions, where the assets, the movable assets, does not suffice. Then they actually put up the entire business and where he is located, where his business is located, and that goes up. Let's call it for auction. It gets repossessed. It gets auctioned to cover losses for the actual company.
Are asset investigations only useful in business-related disputes?
No, very often it is divorces. Then the client, now our clients is normally the attorneys, will then represent the spouse that is claiming from the other. Then that person will say, look, he's got a business and he's not declaring it on whatever documentation. It says that he doesn't own any businesses, and then we have to put in. The attorneys will then ask us to investigate this person and to actually physically go on the road and see where the business is located, see where he is, if he is connected directly, which means we have to put eyes on him or her at the business premises, and then we find a way to get in to see what is there. Does the building belong to him? What part of the building, or what can be included in the settlement that is immovable, and if possible, movable items. So yeah, it happens not only in business company to company, but also in marital disputes, divorce settlements, etc.
Let's switch to a general question that I have come across quite a bit. Can you actually put a time frame on investigations, and not just asset investigations, but any type of investigation? I mean, is it possible to say, in a week or a month, and also what you will get at the end?
Unfortunately, in the beginning, you will think if it's a normal small case for divorce or something like that, then you think, oh, it will take a week, it will take 2 weeks. But in actual fact, it's impossible to say. The reason why, a lot of people say, oh, no, it is straightforward. You go to his house, you see what he's got. The company's there. You can say you want to just job share and see what they have. And within 2 to 3 days, you're done. It's not actually, it doesn't really work like that, because people are clever. They can own a company, they can be at the address, and the minute things start going south, they can easily up and move, So what you think you're going to be able to do in a week, you come there, building's empty, no one is there, building's been sold, they never owned it, so you have to start from scratch again. So you cannot put a time frame on asset investigations. It's totally impossible, because when someone is not being honest, is doing bad business, they have their bases covered. They are actually the mere fact that there is a problem is because they knew exactly what it is that they were doing, and they're always one step ahead. So when you start investigation, many times you think you're going to end up at point A, but you end up somewhere further down the line, and sometimes you're in another dorp, in another town, completely on the other side of South Africa, because that's how far ahead people think. So you cannot put a time frame on any investigation, actually, for that matter.
Let's move on to business activity investigations. What is that? What does that involve? And who usually requires such an investigation?
That's a case when an owner of a company or directors, they have someone that is interested in wanting to partner with them, become a director or invest in them, but want a directorship role or a decision-making role in that. Then the company will normally contact us to find out who this person is and where does he come from, and anything that we can find out about the person, just to cover their tracks, to make sure that they got their T's crossed and their I's dotted, so that they can make an informed decision.
So what kind of information would they then get back from such an investigation?
What we do, we see the nature of the business. Let's say, for example, it is a jewelry company, right? Or, okay, make it more simple, a plumbing business. Then you got 3 directors and someone came in or want to do business with them. And we will then look at the person and check their records if they have, because conflict of interest is something that very few people actually declare, because someone want to go in business with someone is already a businessman. So what is it that they already might have that they are not saying? So it's a plumbing business, and the company was approached by someone. So we will then look into this person's data, right? And we'll see, okay, there is no businesses there. Now, let's say, for example, we look at the person's record and now we see, okay, there's a spouse. We look at the spouse. The spouse has a plumbing business registered in his or her name. And then that's conflict of interest, because now could it be that their business isn't thriving? Now, this is just for the sake of the topic. Their business isn't thriving, so let's get in on another bigger company. And then, for example, he's given directorship, and over 5 years, the business starts to, suffer. But then another 5 years later, they find out that this guy's wife has a plumbing business, and they were, instead of them paying for plumbing material, for example, he's been rerouting, or this, for the sake of the conversation, say he was stealing or fraudulently routing equipment and products and spares, whatever it is, to the wife's business, so that it will cut costs on their side and they can do better business. So it's things like that that we look into. Is the person safe? Have they got, are they related to anyone that has the same type of business? And if so, then the company can say, look, we don't want to do business with you. But if we do find that he's completely clear, he's got no connections to anyone else associated with that type of business, then we will give him the report to say, look, he passes, so there shouldn't be any issues further down the line.
When we're talking about criminal investigations, it doesn't cover all sorts of crimes. Obviously, the services that Silver Wolf offers. So what falls under that banner?
Well, we've got fraud, theft, defamation of character, and sexual harassment.
So what kind of theft are we talking about? Is it business theft or petty crimes? What kind of theft?
It is crimes. We basically don't just turn away people because it's not a business. We do anything that is theft from houses. For example, expensive jewelry from a property. We do theft in businesses, be it, let's say it's a place that sells batteries. Batteries are going missing. Or it is a framing factory. Frames are going missing. So it is basically theft in all aspects. If we can, that people would want assistance with. The reason being, everybody goes to SAPS, but we are much more current, so we're able to attend to most of these then and now. And yeah, so theft, basically, it isn't company specific. It is for private people and for businesses.
Let's discuss the other points that you mentioned as well.
Then you also have sexual harassment. In the workplace, it can be sexual harassment in an area, in a suburb. It can be in a shop. It can be anything that where people are trying to find answers, but no one is willing to assist. Then we will do what we need to do. We need to question people. We have to go undercover if we have to, just to find out the validity of it. And yeah, so it's sexual harassment forms has many faces. So we basically cover or attempt to cover most of those to catch the predator or the person committing the crime. You have defamation of character, or where someone is slandering another person's name. It can be in the business. It can be a remark that someone is making, and so it doesn't really have to be in like under a roof or at a building, at like in a building, at a company. So we get to the bottom of who it is that is slandering someone for whatever reason, and yeah, so those are few and far between, because as sexual harassment is one of the highlights of government, so it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. Then we have fraud, which is one of my firm favorites. It is the most exercised hobby in the area that I live in, and it has so many faces. So fraud happens anywhere. It happens in a family, it happens in a business, it happens through a pyramid scheme, it happens all over. It can happen in a dealership, it can happen in a radio, in a CD store, it can happen anywhere. It is so broad that it is one of the most exciting things. So, but fraud has many faces. It's where people lost something. It's in most cases money, and just to find the source, to find where it went, is in itself a very intricate operation, but very exciting.
Let's talk about missing persons investigations. Just tell us more about that type of investigations and how simple or intricate it is.
It becomes intricate. Normally it's just a straightforward thing where someone just went missing for a while, but a missing person is a missing person. And what's surprising about a missing person, first and foremost, is the first question that we ask is, do you know where the person went? And if they went there, who did they go to? And it's shocking, the answers that we get, where nobody knows. The person just up and left. So it basically, we have to start from the ground up. Is check the last messages, whoever they sent a message to. At home, we have to basically start from where they left from, what the situation is here. So you have to dig up a family history, family feud, whatever happened in the house in the last 24 hours. Was there argument? There is so many factors involved in a missing person that opens up the realization that sometimes we don't even know ourselves where our family members are, what they were lost. So because of these things, now you have to, you've got 24 hours and to get that person back safely. But a missing person is one of the most trickiest aspects of what we do.
Then in terms of SAPS, how does that work? Do you work alongside them, or do people come to you first, or do they have to go and open a missing persons case first before they can then use an investigator? How does that work?
In these instances, when we get involved with a missing person, is when SAPS is already on the case, but the family wants someone with whom they can be in constant contact with. They would then contact us. We would then go to SAPS, check with SAPS what it is that they've found, and offer to work side by side with him. And SAPS has got they are so fully booked, and that we will then do whatever it is we need to do. And whatever we find, we get back to SAPS and okay, this is what we have come up with. But yes, it is important that we work hand in hand with South African Police Services, so that whatever information they get, they will tell us, and we will follow that up for them, which is the only and best way to do it. So yeah, we do work on all cases where SAPS is involved. We work side by side with him.
Can you talk a little bit more about instances and outcomes in these kinds of cases?
Of the two that I worked on, the person was mentally handicapped, had a lot of phobias, and was missing for about 18 hours. And she basically took everything, but because of the mental instability of the individual, her safety is, or anybody's safety is paramount, that we had to find within a specific amount of time. So you don't get people that just run away because they want to. You also get people that's got mental issues, and that's got phobias. So, and they're unaware of how unsafe it is out there. So it ranges from teenagers playing truant to actual mental conditions, to people that's gone missing and presumed dead, but maybe also just absconded from responsibilities.
Are there any tips or advice that you would give to people in these instances, or to help them prevent these instances, or help family at least have some kind of lead or something, when they go to the police, if something like this does happen to one of their family members? Not just people with mental difficulties, but just ordinary people as well. Is there any kind of tips that you could give in this instance?
Yes, I'm just going to throw in anyone that's got a family member that has mental issues, young or old, a pinch, like an old person, someone that suffers from dementia. In their clothing, they don't even have to know about it. Write their name, your name, and telephone number on every single clothing item. So when they go missing, when they wander off, anything, the first thing SAPS, neighborhood watch people, law enforcement, anyone, the first thing they actually do is they grab you by the collar and they see if there's a name inside. If anyone's got family members that is prone to just wandering off, your kids going to school, write anything on all the tags on every item of clothing. And then as normal people, always traveling the roads, I do it. I'm nearly 50, but whenever I leave home, I will let someone know where I am going and whether I'll be back late or not, And when I leave to go back home, I put on my live location, send it to someone that I know is going to see that message. And I set it for maximum 8 hours, so that in the event of me going missing, they know that I won't have my phone on me. I will just put it somewhere, so that no one can find it. But these little things, not to let people in on your life, but for safety reasons. So many things is happening that it's just these little things that you do that can change an outcome of a missing person, or you going missing.
Good advice, yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for joining me today, and for explaining and highlighting the services that Silverwolf offers, and sharing your knowledge and experience and expertise in these different topics that we spoke about today. So thanks for all of that.
No, thank you, Angela, for having me again, and for the listeners for taking the time. But what I can say as a sign-off is, don't do crime if you can't do the time. Fraud pays, but only for a short while, because fraud is found out. People pick up losses, and they will ask me or our business to find out who it is and how much they took. So yes, look after one another. Tell your family where you're going, and when you come back, let them know what route you're going to take. And the only route in life is the proper route, the honest route, and the safe one.